I'm Richard Redmond, host of The Play's the Thing. There's an old saying, home is where the heart is. But what if you sell your home and your heart is still there? What do you do then? The following play, titled Pride of Place, written by Donald Steele, tells the story of Joyce, an elderly lady, returning to a house that she just recently sold.
Hi.
Hi. Joyce Wagner. We sold you our house.
Oh, Joyce. Mrs. Wagner.
Oh, you got it right the first time.
Got what?
Joyce, not Mrs. Wagner.
Oh.
Joyce.
Oh.
And you're, Leslie.
Lisa.
Oh, well, close enough. They both start with L. In the same neighborhood, just one block over, I always say. I brought you the pictures.
The pictures?
Yeah, the pictures, like I said.
Oh, were you on a trip after you sold us the house? I can't remember.
Of the house.
Oh.
At Christmas, how we decorated the house for Christmas.
Oh.
That way you'll know. And I brought some of them with me. I'll bring the others later.
Bring what later?
The rest.
Of what, the pictures?
The decorations. We can't use them at that condo my husband bought, and my kids don't want them. But then when did either of them ever want to do anything I ever suggested? So, since we can't use them anymore, and they won't, I thought I'd bring everything over to you.
Oh, well, that's awfully nice of you. I just wish you'd called before you went through all this trouble.
Christmas decorations trouble?
Well, we usually go away for the holidays.
Oh, that's you two, but the house doesn't. And the neighbors will expect it. Oh. I know they will. People come from all over just to see how our house is decorated for the holidays. Oh, they'll be so disappointed if they get here and there's nothing up for them to see. They'll be worried. They'll think something happened to me and it'll ruin their Christmas.
Or they'll think you moved.
You don't want all those people knocking at the door and asking, do you?
Asking me about what?
How I am. If I am. Why the house isn't decorated like always. We've had people come from as far away as Connecticut. Really, Connecticut.
Connecticut.
You don't want to put all those people out, do you? Risk their lives coming all that distance for nothing? Connecticut, especially with how the weather can sometimes be in December.
Well, we could put up a sign that says, "Don't worry, they've moved."
Then why'd you buy a house if you always go away at Christmas?
Well, to see my parents or his, and this year his sister got married, so we're going to go there. And we had Thanksgiving at my house already. It's how we have the holidays set up.
Hey, but there were all those days leading up to Christmas and all the days after.
That's how we do things.
I told you about the pictures.
I don't remember.
At the closing, I took your hand in mine. Oh, you seemed like such a nice girl. And I said I had pictures of how we did everything for Christmas. And the 4th, and Flag Day, and Halloween. And Thanksgiving. Your parents and his parents see how you do this place up for Thanksgiving. They'll be coming here from now on. And Christmas, too.
I'm sure if you showed up at your son's door or your daughter's door, they could not say no to these decorations.
Oh, you think so, huh? I've had to give up so much in my life. When I wanted her to take jazz and tap, you think she listened? Not interested. Wouldn't even go once. No, she saw her future, and it didn't include jazz and tap. No, medical school for that one. Like she has it in her to find the cure for cancer. Well, she hasn't done that yet, and she isn't yet going to. And him, when I told him to be a painter, you'd have thought I told him to be a child pornographer. Nope, he had it in him to be a lawyer.
Well, those are good jobs.
Not when they could have expressed themselves. But then I knew.
Knew what?
They didn't have any souls to express.
Except if they knew what they wanted to do and were able to
You don't know them. I had aspirations for them. To bring beauty into this world. Instead, they go into professions where all day, every day, all they can think about is making money off poor, frightened, ailing, defenseless people. You know how much an appointment costs to see my daughter? I can't afford her. And do you think she might swing me a deal? Her own mother? I don't have to tell you. They could have brought some beauty into this world and helped take us out of our sad, miserable, joyless lives for a few happy, mirthful minutes. But no, they'd both tell you what they were doing was to benefit all mankind. Oh, all mankind. Then tell me why these two selfish lovers of humanity have multiple houses. They have that much money and so much love for humanity. They couldn't donate some of it to the poor? No, they donate it to themselves.
I think I hear the phone ringing.
Oh, no, you don't. I don't, and I have excellent hearing, especially for someone my age. My doctor, someone I can afford, he just thinks my hearing is remarkable. I have the hearing of a 20-year-old. 20-year-olds should have my hearing, he said. Joyce, he says...
Well, it was sweet of you to come by,
Oh,
but...
so give me a hand.
Well, actually, Mrs. Wagner...
Joyce.
Yes, Joyce. Well, you see, about Christmas, it's like this. My husband and... Not like this is any business of yours, because we paid for this house, so legally it is ours.
Oh, I know that, honey. I was at the closing.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
Of course it is, honey.
We pay the mortgage and the school taxes.
Oh, you better, or it won't be yours for long, honey.
So, when it comes to Christmas, you see, how we spend Christmas...
Yes?
We're atheist.
What?
Atheist.
You're what?
My husband and I, we're atheists. We don't believe that there's a God.
Oh, my God. We sold our house to godless people.
Well, I wouldn't put it like that.
Well, how else would you put it?
We're non-believers. Well, we're good people. We've never killed anyone. We just don't believe there's a God.
Well, how can you be? You celebrate Christmas.
No, we don't. We have nothing to celebrate.
If you go on those trips and go to his parents and your parents and his sister with her new husband, what do you call that?
Traveling, visiting.
Oh, my God. If I had known this, I would never have let you in the house, let alone sold it to you.
And then we would have been hiring your son to represent us.
And he probably would take it, too, knowing him.
So, now that you know about the decorations, it was really sweet of you to stop by and think of us, but I'm expecting the house painter soon and I have to decide on a color.
For what?
The house. We're having the house painted.
What for?
Well, we wanted to freshen it up.
So, what's to decide?
The color. I need to settle on a color.
Not if all you're doing is freshening up the house. Oh, my God. You're not freshening up the house. You're painting the house. Oh, my God.
Oh my God, what? Joyce?
Mrs. Wagner,
Oh, calm down. This is our house.
this house is a landmark.
Someone slept here. Someone lived here.
I lived here. I slept here. And maybe today I'll die here. This is my landmark. This is what I have to leave behind. I thought long and hard, very long and very hard about what color to paint this house, and the trim, and the shutters. It was no accident how this house ended up looking.
But those are your colors, as nice as they are. Maybe if you see the colors that I'm thinking of, then...
I don't have to see them. I already see them. You think you can do better, little girl?
Not better, just different. So it'll be our house.
But you loved the way it looked. You said so. At the closing, you took my hand in yours and you said so lovingly, we just love the house.
Yes, I did. I said that. See?
See what?
We just love the house.
Yes, so?
That's what I said. We just love the house.
As it is, as we first saw it.
But I didn't say that. I could have, but I didn't. I said we just love the house.
It was understood. What else could you have meant? We just love the house, as it is, as we first saw it. It's what drew us to it. We're never going to change it because our dream has come true. You don't change a dream.
You think I said all of that when I said what I did?
What do you think you said when you said that?
That we love the house.
As it is, not as it could be, as you could improve on it. As it is, as it has always been.
Not always.
Yes, yes, always. Always, always, always. As long as we've lived here like this.
But before you,
Before we what?
what did the house look like when you bought it?
Oh, I don't want to think about it. It was hard to imagine what the house could look like given how the previous owners had painted it. Just awful. It took me to reveal what this house could be. Those colors did that. The colors I picked. How the walls were painted, the color for the trim, for the doors and the shutters.
Well, I've been reading some magazines and looking at pictures to help me.
So what?
Well, I wanted to make an informed choice and not go hither and yon with my selections. You know, but based on ideas I've gotten from experts in the magazines I've been reading.
They don't know this house. What would be best for this house?
But they're experts in their field. Professional designers who get paid a lot of money for what they do. And other than the cost of the magazines, well, they're not cheap, I'm getting their advice for free. Advice from experts about how to paint the house. You know, to reflect how much we love it.
Do you?
Yes.
Really?
Of course, we loved it enough to pay exactly what you asked for. We didn't ask you to come down. Not even a nickel. That's how much we love this house.
Really? Oh, our realtors just thought you didn't know how to do it.
Oh, we knew to do that. Our realtor couldn't believe we didn't want to. But we wanted this house. This is where we want to raise our children.
Then for them.
Then for them what?
The decorations I have in the car. You and your husband may be godless non-believers. Your children will want this house decorated like you are believers. This house will want to be decorated like you are. Why deprive everybody around here and further beyond of seeing something so lovely that brings so much happiness and joy and every year gets featured on the local news and in the local papers? One year, it was in the spring, there was a knock at the door. So I get up annoyed because I was in the midst of one of my favorite shows. And you know how annoying that can be. But I opened the door, and there was this woman who I have never met before, and she introduces herself to me and apologizes from the bottom of her heart for intruding. And she explains how her mother had recently died from cancer. And I said how sorry I was to hear that, and I was. But as sick as her mother was, and you know how sick cancer can make you, well, it killed her. But as sick as she was, that woman got herself out of her sickbed and had her daughter drive past this house for what she knew would be the last time. But it was a holiday tradition for her. And oh, the joy and the happiness it gave her. And for the few minutes that she gazed at the beautiful decorations, she was pain-free. So you see?
Yes. Yes, I do.
You didn't buy just a house. You bought a tradition.
Well, put like that.
Well, I do.
There's this woman in our neighborhood, Mrs. McAllister. She lived 2 streets over, and I'd walk past her house every day on the way to school. Oh, what she did at Christmas. Christmas and New Year's, Easter, Halloween, and in between.
In between?
People would come from all over just to look at her house. And when she was gone, it was never the same. We'd walk by her house. It was always her house. Even now, it's her house. No matter who lived there, it's not like the people who lived there didn't do it up. Oh, they did. Well, let's just say, if there was a Nobel Prize for what Mrs. McAllister did, she'd have won it every single year. And even now, when I go by the house, I think, that's the house where? Knack, I guess you call it. Or a gift. We count down the days until the decoration changes. You know, it was something nice. We had the seasons, and we had Mrs. McAllister's house. Connecticut?
The eastern part, near the ocean. We get talked about. You see over there?
Yes, the Hoovers.
Well, her sister lives in Canaan, and she saw the house, and she told people who told people, and they told people who told people, and they told people who told people.
I didn't realize what we were getting ourselves into.
You weren't only buying a house.
Yeah, we bought a way of life.
That damn husband of mine didn't insist that we move into that damn condo. Something about his heart, and this place was too much for him to keep up. He even got his doctor to write me a letter. Oh, the plans I had for this house this year.
I bet. I'll help you get the decorations.
Oh, you are going to just love what we do for Halloween. Christmas and children really love Halloween. But you'll find out. Your whole life changes when the children come. The hopes, the dreams, the disappointments, the wonder in their little eyes. If only I had seen some of it in my own children's eyes.
If only.
I guess you can't go back to Kansas. Next, an amusing story about how Yonkers, that's Yonkers, New York, got its name, told by the master storyteller whom you've seen on this program before, Jonathan Kruk.
Greetings all, I'm Jonathan Kruk, your teller of tales along the Hudson River. here to share with you a story of how the city of gracious living, also known as Yonkers, got its name. Now, once upon a time, Adrian Onderdonk worked hard and managed to earn up enough money way back in the 1640s to strike a little deal with the native folk who lived along that stretch of the river, the Wecqueesquake. He bought and established a little colony. He called it grandly Coolendonk. But most of the farmers in and around there knew it by a different name. See, Adrian was the only fellow who possessed a law degree, so he was allowed to be addressed as master. But in Dutch, you say heer, H-E-E-R. Well, it happened, however, that in 1664, the English came through with 5 battleships and hundreds of men and cannon, and Peter Stuyvesant imprudently tried to challenge them. "I'll shoot your noses off," but they talked him out of it, and cooler heads prevailed, and it was decided, let's let the English try to run this colony along Hudson's River. The English mapmakers went out, and they began to find what the place names were. Some of them they made little adjustments to, like Breukelen, the land of the broken hills, soon became, can you guess? Brooklyn. You are so smart. Exactly, Brooklyn. Of course, New Amsterdam became New York City. New Netherlands became New York Colony. Well, they got up a little farther along the river, and they came upon this sawmill left behind by Adrian Onderdonk. And there were several farms scattered along there, too. And they went to the Dutch farmers, and these English fellows say, "Excuse me, prithee tell, what do you call these lands?" Well, the Dutch farmers kind of scratched their heads, their English not being all that good, and they kind of gesture, "What do you call this land?" Oh! The Dutch farmers kind of catch on. They say, "Dis de Yonkers," which roughly means in English, the young masters' lands. De Yonkers, the young masters. "Ah, brilliant," say the English, and they scroll down D. That means the Yonkers. And the Yonkers is the name given to this little town growing along Hudson's River. Eventually they drop the word "the" and give it to the Bronx, and the name Yonkers sticks. So next time you're passing through the city of gracious living and you're thinking, "Yonkers? Who names a city Yonkers? What's a Yonker?" Remember, it just means the young masters. And that young master is Adrian Onderdonk. And this is going to be on the test, too. So thanks all, and I hope you listened well. Yonkers.
Next is a monologue from Anton Chekhov's play, The Swan Song. The scene takes place on the stage of a theater at night after the play is over, the audience gone, and the theater is empty.
Well, this is funny. Here's a good joke. I fell asleep in my dressing room after the play was over, and there I was, calmly snoring after everybody else had left the theater. I'm a foolish old man, a poor old dodderer. I've been drinking again, and so I fell asleep in there, sitting up. That was clever. Good for you, old boy. Yegorka! Petrushka! Where the devil are you? Petrushka! Scoundrels must have fallen asleep, and even an earthquake wouldn't wake them now. Yegorka! Not a sound. Only echoes answer me. I gave Yegorka and Petrushka each a tip today, and now they have disappeared without leaving a trace behind them. The rascals have gone off. and have probably locked up the theater. I'm drunk. Ugh. Play tonight was for my benefit. And it's disgusting to think how much beer and wine I've poured down my throat in honor of the occasion. Gracious, my body is burning, and I feel as though I had 20 tongues in my mouth. It's horrid, idiotic. This poor old sinner is drunk again and doesn't even know what he's been celebrating. Ugh, my head is splitting, shivering all over, and I feel as dark and cold inside as a cellar. Even if I don't mind ruining my health, I ought to at least remember my age, old idiot that I am. Yes, my old age. It's no use. I can play the fool and brag and pretend to be young, but my life is really over now. I kissed my hand to the 68 years that have gone by. I'll never see them again. I have drained the bottle and only a few little drops are left at the bottom. Nothing but the dregs. Yes, that's the case, Vasilio boy. It is strange, though, that I've been on the stage now for 45 years, and this is the first time that I've seen a theater at night after the lights have been put out. The first time. How dark it is. I can't see a thing. Oh, yes, I can make out the prompter's box and his desk. The rest is in pitch darkness. A black, bottomless pit, like a grave, in which death itself might be hiding. Brr, how cold it is. The wind blows out of the empty theater as though out of a stone flue. What a place for ghosts. The shivers are running up and down my back. Yegorka! Petrushka! Where are you both? What makes me think of such gruesome things here? I must give up drinking. I'm an old man, and I shan't live much longer. At 68, people go to church and prepare for death, but here I am, in its fool's dress, a profane old drunkard. I must go and change at once. This is a dreadful place. I should die of fright sitting here all night.
Thank you.